The winds of change are blowing fiercely across the northernmost province of the Philippines. Batanes, once a tranquil archipelago, now stands at the center of a geopolitical storm. Headlines warn of new military infrastructure and joint drills with the United States, transforming this forgotten paradise into a strategic front line. The calm blue waters of the Bashi Channel now reflect the tension of great power competition. This shift is the result of escalating tensions between China and the United States, with Batanes caught in the middle. The Philippines, under new leadership, has renewed its alliance with the U.S., bringing American military presence closer to China than ever before. Batanes' critical location has made it a key piece in this high-stakes chess game. Engineers upgrade runways, soldiers conduct coastal defense drills, and high-level officials make frequent visits, signs of the island's newfound importance. This transformation is about more than military hardware. It's a fundamental change in the region's security architecture. The Philippines is no longer a passive observer, but an active player asserting its sovereignty. The world now asks not if Batanes matters, but what will happen now that it does. The Bashi Channel is a vital artery for global trade and communication. Any conflict here could disrupt the world economy. The drama in Batanes is not just a local story, it's a global one, highlighting the dangerous intersection of sovereignty, alliances, and superpower ambitions. The once sleepy islands are now a hive of activity, watched closely by Beijing, Washington, and Manila. A miscalculation here could have devastating consequences. The world watches, holding its breath as the storm gathers over these remote Philippine islands. Before the world's gaze, life in Batanes moved to the rhythm of the wind and sea. The Ivatan people, indigenous to the archipelago, built a culture of resilience and community, thriving amid typhoons and isolation. Their iconic stone houses with thick limestone walls symbolize a people who bend with the storm but never break. Daily life revolved around farming, fishing, and the tradition of payuhuan, neighbors helping neighbors. Trust was the currency, embodied by honesty coffee shops where payment was left in a box, unguarded. The landscape, rolling hills, rocky coasts, was both sustenance and spiritual anchor. To be Ivatan was to belong to this unique ecosystem, respecting its power and secrets. This peaceful past now stands in stark contrast to the militarized present. The arrival of soldiers and the hum of drills have introduced a new, unfamiliar rhythm. The simplicity of the past is overlaid with the complexity of geopolitics. While traditions endure, the context has changed. The quiet is now punctuated by military activity. The echoes of that quieter time remind us what's at stake as Batanes is drawn into a conflict not of its own making. Batanes may be a scattering of dots on the map, but its strategic value is immense. Its location at the confluence of the Western Pacific and South China Sea makes it the Philippines' northern gatekeeper. Just 190 kilometers from Taiwan, Batanes is an unsinkable aircraft carrier in any conflict over the strait. From here, military forces could monitor and control vital naval and air movements. The Bashi Channel is a global choke point, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes and home to undersea cables carrying internet and financial data. Disruption here would have catastrophic global consequences. For the Philippines, Batanes is a crucial outpost for national defense and maritime resource protection. For China, a US-aligned Batanes complicates any operation against Taiwan. For Washington, it's a forward staging ground to support allies and counter China's regional ambitions. The island's value lies not in what they have, but where they are. That's why these windswept islands are now a focal point of intense strategic competition. Batanes' landscape is changing fast. Military outposts rise where quiet coastlines once lay, airstrips are lengthened, ports and fuel depots built, and Filipino soldiers are now a common sight. Joint military exercises bring American troops and the sounds of war preparation to these peaceful islands. Infrastructure upgrades aren't just military, ports and airports also promise economic benefits for locals. Yet, these changes are inseparable from the broader security agenda. The influx of workers and soldiers strains local resources and challenges the intimacy of small communities. The outside world, with all its complexities, is encroaching on Ivatan heritage. The transformation is not just physical, it's cultural and social. The people of Batanes must now navigate a new reality where their home is both sanctuary and strategic asset. The Ivatans are caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war, their hopes and fears intertwined. Many welcome new infrastructure and attention, seeing long overdue opportunities for jobs, transport, and economic growth. Some hope for sustainable tourism and new markets, finally connecting Batanes to the national economy. But anxiety runs deep. Peace and stability are core Ivatan values, and the prospect of becoming a battlefield is terrifying. Older residents fear militarization makes them a target, while younger Ivatans see both opportunity and risk. They worry about losing their unique culture and the environmental toll of rapid development. The question lingers: does this make us safer, or put us in the line of fire? The voices from Batanes plead for their well-being to be central in decision-making. They did not ask to be on the front line of a global power struggle. Local leaders want peace and a say in their future. The greatest fear, that the real lives of the Ivatans will be forgotten in the quest for strategic advantage. Their hope, that promised benefits materialize and their identity endures. The US-Philippines alliance is driving Batanes' transformation. Manila, facing pressure from China, has renewed its partnership with Washington for security and survival. The alliance brings modern equipment, training, and the security guarantee of the Mutual Defense Treaty. For the US, the Philippines is a critical partner in countering China's ambitions. Under EDCA, the US gains access to key sites, including Batanes, enabling rapid response to regional crises. The focus on Batanes marks a shift from counter-terrorism to territorial defense. Joint exercises now simulate defense of the northern islands, sending a clear signal to Beijing. Manila walks a tightrope, strengthening defense without provoking China. For both nations, the alliance is vital, a cornerstone for the US, a lifeline for the Philippines. The fate of Batanes is now tied to the health of this reborn alliance. China watches Batanes with growing alarm, seeing US-Philippines military cooperation as a direct threat. Beijing warns that military facilities near Taiwan cross a red line and undermine regional stability. Any US presence in Batanes could complicate Chinese plans for Taiwan, making the islands a flashpoint. China's response mixes diplomatic pressure and gray zone tactics, harassing Philippine vessels and warning Manila of economic consequences. The risk of miscalculation is high, with forces operating in close proximity. A minor incident could quickly escalate into a major crisis. Every move is scrutinized, fueling a volatile environment. The dragon's gaze is fixed on Batanes, and its reaction may determine the region's fate. Batanes' significance extends far beyond the Philippines. The islands are a microcosm of US-China rivalry, testing alliances and the rules-based order. For Indo-Pacific nations, Batanes is a bellwether for how great power competition will play out. The Philippines' defense of its territory, with Allied support, has implications for all smaller nations facing pressure. If sovereignty is upheld here, it sends a message that might does not make right. Failure could embolden revisionist powers and erode international norms. The Bashi Channel's stability is vital for global trade and data. Conflict would send shockwaves worldwide. The fate of Batanes is linked to the economic well-being of billions. The island's transformation highlights the evolving nature of modern alliances and warfare. Batanes is a laboratory for the future of regional security, and the outcome will shape the Indo-Pacific for decades. The future of Batanes hangs in the balance, fraught with uncertainty and difficult choices. The province walks a tightrope between development and danger, sovereignty and survival. One possible future: cautious development, economic benefits, and a limited defensive military presence if diplomacy prevails. Another: escalation, where miscalculation leads to confrontation, and Batanes becomes a casualty of conflict. For the Ivatans, the nightmare is their homeland turned battlefield. The ultimate question: can Batanes chart its own course, or is it a pawn in a larger game? Manila must use its alliance as a shield, not a sword. The Ivatans must adapt while preserving their culture and demanding a voice. The fragility of peace in Batanes is a lesson for the world. In this grand chess game, the pawns are real people, with real homes and futures now hanging in the balance.